so far it's basically been Tom Sawyer being a little bitch. Hello, wizards, witches, and everyone in between. My name is Emma, and welcome to my first 24-hour reading vlog. So I will be participating in the Destressathon, which is a 24-hour readathon starting in your time zone on April 4th. I'm very excited. I will link all the info down below and the lovely people hosting down below. I did just want to briefly go over my TBR for this readathon so that tomorrow I can just get straight to reading. I will definitely not be staying up 24 hours. I'm probably just gonna go to bed and wake up at like 7 a.m. And then read as much as I can from 7 a.m. to midnight. Have a couple things I need to do tomorrow. I have the Hunger Games live show for Catching Fire, which will be on Lily's channel. I will link our live show down below. I'm very excited. Love Catching Fire. So with all that being said, I have 4 short books that I want to read tomorrow. And I have not started these, so I want to start and finish them all within 24 hours. As you can see, they're all very small. 2 of these I have audiobooks of on Libby, and 2 I will be reading physically. For the audiobook ones, if I feel like reading them physically instead, I'll do that, but I wanted to be able to listen to audiobooks so I can like play Animal Crossing and do other things tomorrow. So one of my audiobooks is Hatchet by Gary Paulson. So this is a very famous middle grade novel, which I have never read. It is an adventure story, it's a survival story, and it's middle grade. Takes place outside. Those are like all of my favorite things. So it is a story about this 13-year-old kid, Brian, who I think a plane crashes and leaves him stranded in the wilderness for like 54 days. And so it's his kind of survival story. And I'm really excited. I have this on audiobook. I think this book is around 200 pages, so that'll be nice. And then the other book I have on audiobook is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. I thought this book was a lot longer than it is. It just looks big. I don't know, but it's only a little over 200 pages as well. So I'm very excited to listen to this. My dad absolutely loves this. My husband loves this. I feel very left out in my family because I have not read it yet. So this is the other one I have the audiobook of. And then physical read-wise, I will be reading The River by Gary Paulson, which is the sequel to Hatchet. And this one is very short. This is under 150 pages, I think. And then last but not least, I have Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers, who is the author of Sadie. I absolutely love Sadie, so I'm hoping that this will be just as good. Also, just look how gorgeous that cover is. And this book is also a little over 200 pages, so I definitely think this is doable. But regardless, I'm just excited to read a lot. I've been in such a reading mood. So those are the books that I am hoping to start and finish tomorrow. Wish me luck. I will check back in with you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It is 8:18 a.m. I need sleep for my mental health, so I can't do the 24-hour thing, but I woke up at 7:30 and I'll obviously read as much as I can until midnight. So I'm really excited. I started my first audiobook, Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I started that while I made breakfast. It's really good so far. I really like it. Our 13-year-old boy, Brian, was in a plane crash and he landed like in a weird lake in a bunch of mountains and he doesn't know where he is right now. And all he has is a hatchet. I don't know why I never guessed that that's why it was called Hatchet, but anyway. So I am going to do the end slate for my new reading vlog and get that all up and live while I listen to Hatchet. Long time no see. It is currently 4 p.m. I spent the day cleaning and I went for a fairly long walk. I watched the last 2 episodes of The Tiger King and we did our live show for Catching Fire. I will link that down below. That was really fun talking with my friends about Catching Fire. A little bit of an update. I started and finished the audiobook for Hatchet. I listened to it on 2x speed, so it was only like 2 hours long. So I finished that pretty quick. And I ended up giving it 3 stars. I think I was just expecting more from it, to be honest. I think there was a lot more that could have been done, and the story, it was too short, I think. Like, it was so short that the plot, like the Brian's character arc was just like really sped up, and I'm intrigued to know why this book is this short, because it's middle grade. So, you know, I could say like a kid's book being short, but I don't know. I did enjoy it. The plane crash part at the beginning was very captivating. And then, like, I enjoyed the scenes of, like, Brian trying to figure out how to get food and water and things like that, but just as a whole, it just went by too fast. So, I don't know. I gave it a 3. I liked it, but I was expecting a little bit more. So, I'm interested to see how I feel about The River, because The River is even shorter, and it's a sequel. So we'll see. On my walk, I started listening to The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I am about 25% of the way through the audiobook for that, and I'm liking it so far. I think it's important that we acknowledge the racism in this book. It is what it is. You know, Mark Twain and the time period, it is what it is. I do just want to put that out there, that if I do end up enjoying this book, it is despite those things. It's that weird balance of, like, you know, should I not be reading it because it has that in there? It's definitely kind of a morally ambiguous thing. So that being said, 25% of the way in, so far it's basically been Tom Sawyer being a little bitch. You know, finding ways to get out of doing chores. His aunt tells him to paint this fence white, and he manages to convince all of these kids in his neighborhood to do it for him. He just kind of outsmarts everybody, and, you know, he plays weird games with bugs, and it's just like classic, like, what you think of when you think of, like, little boys, you know, playing, like, in the past. So I do really enjoy that. I think his character is really fun. It's just fun to kind of follow him around on his adventures. He just met Huckleberry Finn. So that's kind of where we're at right now with that. So I'll definitely listen to some more of this later. So I am going to go ahead and start Cracked Up to Be. I'm going to read this for an hour and see how I feel about it. See what's up. So I'll check back in with you guys once I do that, and then I did want to check off some of the bingo prompts for this. I've done a couple already without meaning to, like I did go outside, I'm wearing comfy clothes. I think I might bake something later, so we'll see. But anyway, time for this. Talking about how it's been re-released, which I did not know about. And I guess this first came out in 2008 and was kind of neglected back then, 10 years later. That's interesting, I had no idea. Okay, let's start, shall we? 20. I've only read 20 pages, and then I took a nap. Even though, as you know, I wasn't even attempting a 24-hour readathon, so I'm just super sleepy for no reason, and we love that. So yeah, I'm gonna try and read some more. Hello. So it is 7:11, and I have spent the last 2 hours reading Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers, and I only have about an hour left until I finish it, which is great. So this book took me a good maybe 50 pages to get into. I am not a big contemporary person. Really all the reason why I picked up this book in the first place was because I loved Sadie so much, and I went into this completely blind. I had no idea what it was about. But I sometimes have an issue with YA contemporaries because, I guess I should specify that. I like contemporaries in general, but it's like YA contemporaries that I sometimes have an issue with. I think that's just my age. Unless I really relate to the characters, like personalities or struggles they're going through. Being out of high school for like 6 or 7 years, these characters aren't written for me. So our main character's name is Parker Fadley, and she is very unlikable. And that's what makes it hard to get into, because at the beginning you're just kind of, like, you're confused because it keeps alluding to the stuff that's happened in the past. And even right now, being 3/4 of the way finished with it, it still hasn't completely gone through everything that's happened in the past. It does kind of like these little flashback pieces that you kind of have to piece together yourself to kind of figure out what happened and why is Parker the way that she is now, and why are her relationships with these certain people the way they are now, and her relationship with her parents and things like that. I don't know, I don't always love that kind of trope of like, oh, this mysterious character and they keep like alluding to things 50 times, but we don't know, well, Cindy's chewing on my bookmark, but we don't know why she is the way she is, and they're obviously going to tell us, and then you realize that they're not going to tell you like all at once, they're going to drag it out, and I don't really love that. But I really like the writing. I do like, now that I've kind of gotten into the story, I do like that Parker isn't super likable. I think it's great to have female protagonists in YA that aren't sugar spice and everything nice. She's been through a lot. She has a lot of, issues to work through, and that's really interesting. Her character is really complex, which I really like, and I really like the relationship between her and her parents, and her with this new student who came to her high school. So I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm really excited to finish it soon. I guess I technically didn't read this in one sitting, but I sort of am. I think this is a really good book to, read in one day, just because there are a lot of characters, and it's sometimes like you do have to put in the energy to connect the past events to the present ones, and so I think I would kind of lose the plot thread a little bit if I was reading this over the course of a couple days. So I think this is perfect for this readathon for sure. So now I think I will take a break from physically reading, and I'm going to listen to my audiobook for about an hour and play My VMK. I've talked about this once, I think it was like a year ago, but I think it was Walt Disney World had created kind of like a Club Penguin. If you're a Club Penguin person back in the day, it was called VMK, and it was Virtual Magic Kingdom, and it was kind of a Club Penguin style thing, but with Disneyland, Disney World kind of thing. And I was obsessed with it when I was like 10, 11, 12, and then it was like a promotional thing, and so it went away, and I used to play it with my friend Addie a lot. And then I think 2 years ago we realized that someone started their own version, and it's basically the same thing, but it's not owned by Disney anymore, and volunteers run it, and long story short, I still play it a lot. Everyone on there now is like in their 20s because they're there from the nostalgia of when they were like tweens playing it, but I'm gonna do that. It's a perfect mindless thing to do while I listen to more of my audiobook. So that's the story. I'll check in with you later. Well, I don't even know what to say about this book. It made me cry. It made me really frustrated. It's just like, it's dark. I feel like it just keeps getting darker and darker, and when you finally learn the backstory of why Parker is the way she is, man, there are some heavy topics in here. Trigger warnings for sexual assault, panic disorder, lots of vomiting, a weird amount of vomiting, and suicide, ideation of suicide, the whole 9 yards. I don't even know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. It's not a fun read, that's for sure. I would never reread it because it's dark and it's sad, but it talks a lot about tough stuff and dark things, and that's good. I do enjoy those types of books that aren't afraid to be hard-hitting, but wow, it was just a lot, and I think because I read it in one sitting too, and it packs a punch. It's under 250 pages, and it packs a punch. It's like almost 9 now. I am going to listen to more of Tom Sawyer. I think I have about an hour and a half left of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to the river, to be honest. It is very short, and it has really big font, so I might be able to read it in like an hour, but we'll see, because I'm very tired, and that book was rough. I'll meet you in my kitchen. Okay, so the bingo board, the middle vertical 3 are wear something cozy, which I'm doing, go outside, which I did, and the last one is to bake something. And I'm out of a lot of ingredients, so all we have at the moment is a couple leftover, like, pre-made cookie dough. I usually like to bake my chocolate chip cookies from scratch, but like I said, I'm out of like vanilla extract and I think chocolate chips. That would be a main ingredient for that. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cookies left from this thing that I bought like 2 months ago. So we're gonna bake these bad boys up, and I'm going to listen to Tom Sawyer. All right, so the oven is preheated. So here we go. These are pretty good. These are the Pillsbury ones, in terms of like, you know, pre-made ones. I think these are probably my favorite. I am vegan, I would say 97% of the time. The only time when I'm not is with like baked goods. I mean, anything you would bake with like eggs and milk, I still eat that. But in terms of like cooking, everything I make is vegan. I gave up cheese about a year ago, so that was really the last big thing, because I don't eat cow milk unless it's like baked in something, but I use almond milk for basically everything. Vegan butter is really good. I finally found a brand of vegan American cheese that I can make grilled cheese with. That was really the only type of cheese I was missing, because I was never a big cheese person to begin with. Just thought I'd clear that up. It's not that I feel like I need to justify my diet, but I do know some people know that I am vegan, but I am not 100% vegan all the time. Like some days like today, I am a simple, humble vegetarian. So anyway, I'm excited. I should have set a timer for these though. That was dumb. Let me do that. Oh, hell yeah. That's a good time. So it is 11:33 at night, and I just finished listening to Tom Sawyer. I liked it. I need a second to like process it, because like I said, like I literally just finished it. But I mean, it's fun. We just follow this boy around while he does really dumb little boy things. So I had auditioned for a Tom Sawyer play in high school. So based on the scenes we read and just based on being alive for 24 years, I knew some things about it. Like I knew like Huckleberry Finn, I knew like the painting the fence white thing, I knew that there's like caves, but that's about it. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. I mean, Tom's a little shit, and it's fun hearing about his adventures. I can definitely see how this would, like back in the day, have been a kid's book, just for the plot and the characters, definitely not for the writing. I kind of failed my TBR. I did not read The River. If I hadn't taken that nap, I 100% could have read The River. That's okay. I still read 3 books today, and it was really fun just to have a day that's like super focused on reading. So I'm gonna go to sleep, and I will close out this vlog tomorrow morning. So it is the next day. It is very rainy today. So I read 637 pages total yesterday. So I read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain, which I think I'm gonna give a 3.5. It's really fun reading about some of the adventures that he goes on, just because Tom has like that child like wonder and like imagination and things like that, which I always feel nostalgic reading about. There are obviously some not so great elements. This book hasn't aged super well. I also listened to Hatchet by Gary Paulson, which I think I'm gonna give a 3. Like I said, it wasn't, I wanted more substance from it, and I definitely think it could have had more substance. It had a lot of symbolism, which I like, and it was just a quick, entertaining read, but I was just expecting more. And then I read Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers, which killed me inside. I think I'm gonna give it a 4. It was a really difficult read, but it was really engaging at the same time. Definitely a hard-hitting contemporary, but a really good thing to read for a readathon like this. So these 3 books were on my Owls TBR, so I managed to make this readathon help me with my general April readathon. So I would like to thank the people from the BookTube 101 channel for hosting this readathon. It was so fun, so needed in this time, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye!